Our Vanderbilt game this weekend is our Think Pink, Bleed Orange game, and it has taken on a totally different meaning for myself. My sister was diagnosed with breast cancer this fall and had a double mastectomy. So as my efforts have been to find a cure for everyone, it got really personal this fall, so it has a huge meaning for me on Sunday, and it just shows you that nobody can be protected from breast cancer. We all got to make sure that we do the right things to make sure that we get checked and do the proper things to ensure that we can catch it early. So.
Follow-up questions?
Will your sister be at the game Sunday?
She will. She'll be at the game Sunday.
She's been at games pretty much all year.
Yeah, she has. She hasn't missed a game. So was along with the stuff that went on with her. You talk about courage and competing, and that is an example of me of being courageous and just understanding what you have to do and just tackling it head on, and that's what she did, and just it's incredible what she went through, and obviously proud of her how she went through it, but God, we're very blessed that she made it through.
Yep, snap, straight it out,
so,
see what you got.
Does it give her
right
and other people that have survived it sort of a lift when they see teams making these judges? Well, football teams in October, basketball teams now.
Well, they have to. I mean, it brings awareness, and that's what we're trying to do. We bring awareness, and having awareness allows you to raise money, which allows us to do research and give women who don't have the opportunity to get exams to do that, and support groups. So it all ties in together. So we're going to continue, and as Nikki and I's foundation, we're going to continue to raise money and do what we can to make sure we try to beat it.
Are you and Nikki going to do more motorcycle rides coming up, or have you guys talked about that yet?
We are. We're going to do one in I think May. We just got to narrow it down. We're a little behind on our planning just because we've been kind of busy. So, but we're actually next week. I think we're going to find a date and a time and where we're going to go.
How tough was it the last year for just going through all this?
Well, it was I won't lie to you. It was a tough year with Pat. With Pat's situation and then hers, and it hits home, and you're surrounded by things that happen, and you as you're struggling with your team, your personal life and your family situation is obviously that much more important. So this fall was concentrating on our team, but just totally absorbed and concerned with my sister, and when she had her surgery, I was on the West Coast, so it was difficult. It was very tough. It was tough to not be here, but I stayed up to date with them by phone calls. But when you're something's going on with your family, it's hard.
When was it that you had the surgery?
In November.
Rivalry week also, Vanderbilt coming in, 5 o'clock, national TV game. You think the team's excited for Sunday?
You know what, Marie, I do. I think this team loves playing at home. The opportunity to play Vanderbilt, it is a rivalry game. And it's going to be a huge crowd. It's always a big crowd for us. And so, yeah, I think they're excited. I think after this week of practice and preparation, I think they'll be ready to play.
You got some more healing time with this group. Was that good for this week?
It was a great week to have off on Thursday. We're healing. Kamiko's ankle's getting better. Sierra's getting in a little bit better shape. Izzy's continuing to rehab and progress. So we needed a break. I think Tabor was banged up a little bit, so it's a good rest for us.
Yeah, Izzy just walked by, no crutches, no limp. Are you thrilled with how her recovery's going?
I am. She didn't stay long on her crutches, so I think she's maybe a fast healer, and Jenny has her, and she's been really diligent in the weight room and in the training room as well.
Do you feel like for future schedules you want to keep this bye week option? Because a lot of times you squeeze a non-conference game into this week and don't really have it. Now that you've actually are getting one, do you think it's something you'd like to keep in your schedule?
I do. You know, I think the bye week, I think us off this week is huge for us, especially in this late of the season and in the middle of our SEC conference play. I think it's huge for us. I just it's well needed, and I think we're gonna look into continuing that and having a whole week off of rest.
You talk about where Ariel's game is right now. You were really hard on her and coming back out of Christmas. Where do you feel like her play is right now?
I think she has taken her game to another level. Her leadership skills right now. She's worked a lot with Jolette Law and Coach Law, and it has showed tremendously. I think she understands the importance of her taking over the team, being vocal. I think she's looking for her shot more. So I think she's being the player that I've always expected her to be. And right now she's playing extremely well.
Where do you want her to get better, if at all, with her play?
Well, all of us can get better defensively. I think that pressuring the basketball, I think she's done a great job of running the team, pushing the ball, attacking on the transition, and that was one of our big concerns is she wasn't running enough. So now I think she's running and getting our team in their transition and getting our offense quicker.
She was talking about maybe wanting to be a little bit better with decision making, knowing when to take a shot and when to pass. I mean, is that something you
I think
talked about
so.
with her?
I have, and I've talked about her calling offenses and calling defenses, and for me not to give her a couple of things that we want done, and as she sees on the floor, you know, it's remarkable what a point guard can see on the floor and not a coach, because you're in it, you're involved, and you see, well, should I pass it here or shouldn't? So I rely on her and to call plays and yes, no, and then I ask her for suggestions because she is out there living the game.
You're talking with Kamiko about players having to step up, wear different hats, and let all the injuries play different positions. She said she's about as comfortable with as many different hats as she can wear. How do you feel like everyone's kind of adjusted into, filling in the gaps, plugging the holes?
Well, I think they've all stepped up. You look at Sierra's hat. We moved Sierra back inside. Sometimes we move Tabor inside and out. We put Kamiko on the block at the point. So we've asked them to wear a whole lot of different hats, and I think they've all stepped up and understand what's best for the team. They're getting great playing time, and that's what most players want. They want to get out and play, and I think they understand whatever our offense is not really confined to where you're always going to be on the block. That's why you see Bashar stepping off the block as well. So I think they have the opportunity to excel in their skills.
As you start to get people back, whenever that is, from injury, do you think that versatility is going to make you guys just that much stronger?
Oh, absolutely. I think our versatility, anytime you can play inside and post and you can step outside and handle the basketball, you're a difficult player to defend. And I think our experience of putting people around in different positions is just going to help us down the road.
What's the biggest difference you see in Kamiko this year versus maybe previous seasons?
Well, I think she's more consistent. Her game is more consistent. Her decisions are better. She's making better decisions, and she's attacking the basketball. She has a lot of confidence in her offensive game. I think she knows she's one of our better defenders, and I think she understands that. But I think now she's taken her offensive game to another level, and we need her. We need her scoring, and she's been extremely consistent and has shot the ball very well for us. So she's had success on the offensive end. I think that's done nothing but give her confidence.
I know you've talked on her already. You mentioned her as maybe kind of one of the team leaders. In what respect is?
Well, I think the freshmen look up to her. They look up to how she reacts to things, how she handles things on the court, how she conducts herself. So I think that has been a positive for our team. And when she plays hard and creates havoc on the defensive end, we seem to get better and get more into the defensive end and get more intense.
Talking about maybe prior seasons, she got frustrated easily. I mean, how much of a difference have you noticed in that regard, just in terms of attitude and things like that?
I think in the past, I don't really know if Kamiko thought that she was as good as she was, and we're just trying to pull it out of her, and we're just trying to get, as I said, consistency with her, and knowing that we need her. I think maybe 2 years ago we had a full squad, and maybe I don't know if she thought we didn't need her or she wasn't going to play minutes, but we've tried to get her throughout her career to get more minutes, and I think now she's understanding her role and what we need her to do.
What's finally clicked for her? Is it that combination of more minutes and maybe a little senior maturity? Or
I think so. I think it's a little bit more mature about her game. Being a senior, getting in, and our team relying on her defense, and then obviously she's a backup point guard for us. She's a backup for every position we put her in the post. So I think just us needing her to be successful, and her wanting to get out and play hard.
Can you talk about Vandy real quick, just the challenge that they present?
Well, Vandy's they're always a difficult team for us. They spread the floor. They've got great three-point shooters. They penetrate. They're a great passing team, great offensive team. So it's our physicalness against their solid offense, and they are a well-coached offensive team. So we've got to disrupt. And then we've got to move the ball around and they play a matchup zone. They mix their defense up. So we're going to have to move the ball and move it around to make sure we get the shots that we want and we need.
Thanks, Coach.